Hello.
Welcome to the Q&A. I got a question for you. How are your arms looking today?
Feeling good. I just did my workout, so everything is looking a little bit more defined.
Yeah, she was talking about it before we started the video. So,
something I meant to keep to you and me.
Oh, not live for the entire internets?
No.
Okay, so we have a few questions here that we're going to answer. If you have one that you'd like answered, you can either message us and talk to us directly, or we can answer it on a future video. So leave a comment, send a message, whatever you'd like to do. But let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm gonna let you pick first.
Do squats make your butt bigger?
Okay, so I'm gonna approach this. I'm gonna try to answer it quickly, but I'm gonna approach this from two angles because number one, sometimes, more often than not, it's women, but sometimes men too. They want to have a more shapely buttocks, to use the scientific terms. And then other times people are like, okay, I want to lift weights, but I don't want to get bigger. So I feel like this, I don't know the person who's asking this question. I don't know whether they're asking it because they want, like, ooh, I want a bigger butt, or because they're like,
afraid.
I don't want to get bigger. And so I'm going to answer it from both sides. Number one is that squats in general are not a super great butt exercise, even though they are commonly used as that and marketed as that. And it's like, so for the person who's trying to grow their butt, it's actually not the first exercise I would pick for that area, because they mostly work your legs, your thighs, your quads specifically, and even the like inner thigh area. That's what squats work more than anything. So if you're trying to actually get a little bit, more of that bigger booty, that squats are not the first pick. That said, they still work them somewhat, and squats are still super important, so you should still do them. They may help. And some people actually, they just because of their own anatomy, they find that they do work. They can feel it in their butt, and if so, then that's great. Then yeah, if you're feeling it there, then probably it's going to grow it there somewhat. So that's that side. The other side of it is, if you're not wanting that, then first of all, like I said, it's not going to. It's squats aren't the first pick anyway, so I wouldn't worry about that. Unless you are feeling it there like a ton and you're worried like, I only feel it there, then okay, so here's the other side of the thing is, just don't, as long as you're not eating too much, because it is very difficult to grow a noticeable amount of muscle anywhere if you're not eating a lot, like overeating intentionally, which can be very difficult to do. But then the other side of it is, just don't do a ton. Like, don't do 5 days a week of workouts where you're
50-day squat challenge.
Right, yeah, don't do 5 sets of squats in every workout every day. Like, as long as you're hitting squats once or twice a week, 2 or 3 sets, then that's going to be enough to help you stay in shape without growing it too much. So hopefully that answers both sides well enough. If you've got clarifying questions, let me know.
I think if anything, it's going to make it shapely, and depending on what you're doing, big picture, it's going to work towards what your specific goal is. So it's not just one thing, it's kind of a piece of the other things. It's kind of a summary.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Are nuts good for weight loss?
Okay. And it's kind of the same answer as you. Like, it really depends. Big picture, what else are you eating throughout the rest of the day? I mean, are you gonna start adding nuts to your diet and then therefore eating more calories? Then you're gonna be eating more than you need and you're not gonna lose weight. Or are you gonna start eating nuts instead of a candy bar in the afternoon? That might be a really good swap that is a little less calories. So you kind of have to look at it from that perspective. Nuts are an awesome, healthy fat. They contribute lots of vitamins and minerals to your diet, so they're an excellent whole food choice. It just depends, again, at the big picture. What else are you doing the rest of the day to work on that weight loss goal?
I think a lot of times people make the mistake of thinking, oh, nuts are healthy, they're good for me, so that must mean they're good for weight loss. And they can actually be one of the more common things that people end up overeating, because it doesn't take a whole lot of nuts to consume a lot of calories.
Yeah, so nuts are a fat, like I said, and they're really calorie dense compared to carbs or protein. So they do pack a lot more punch in their tiny little form. So you do have to be a lot more mindful with how many you're eating.
Yeah. So you can have them for weight loss, but you can also easily overdo it.
But maybe portion out what you're having and be intentional about it too.
Yeah. Okay. Which one do you want to do next?
Let's go down the line.
Okay.
Can you burn fat by walking?
Yeah. Okay. So burning fat is, I think this kind of comes from it's not a myth. It's actually a scientific thing that's out there and has been marketed, where people think that it's like the fat burning zone of cardio. Most people have heard of that. And walking has been kind of advertised as like, oh, if you go for a walk, that's going to burn more fat than doing whatever other type of exercise. Ultimately, walking is one of the best things that you can do for weight loss because it's good. It's not hard on your body. You can do a lot of it. You can burn a lot of calories. As far as burning fat specifically, it really doesn't matter what. I shouldn't say that. It doesn't matter. I would say walking is not going to burn fat better than necessarily something else. So no, I would not say if you're like, oh, I want to burn belly fat, I better go walk. I would not say just because you're walking, you're burning more fat. Strength exercise actually is something that's going to help make sure that you're burning more fat, just because it's going to, I don't even know how to get into this. Just because it's going to help you preserve the muscles, the lean mass, your bone mass, even organ mass. Like, it's going to help preserve that, sends the signal to your body that's like, hang on to this stuff and get rid of fat. So overall, I would say strength exercise is better for fat burning, but walking is super, super good for weight loss. And in general, don't pick your exercise by whether it's going to burn fat in that particular session or not, because there are bigger things that matter far more.
Enjoying your life.
Yeah.
and being able to be consistent with it in the long run so that you can reach a goal and stay there, which is something we're really good at pinpointing.
Yep.
What makes sense for people to do.
Because that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
So that's why we're good at it.
We want to enjoy our lives.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
Should I take collagen?
Ooh, that's a good one. I know a lot of people in my circles, my social circles, that take it and they swear by the benefits to it. So I did some heavy digging into some science journals, and there isn't a whole lot of evidence for a lot of the marketing claims that say it can improve wrinkles or all the other. Joint health was actually like nothing confirmed on that either. So it is a lot of marketing. The benefit from collagen comes from the amino acids that are in it, and it has a profile of amino acids that is similar to foods you can eat with protein in it, but the collagen is missing some of the ones that you would get from whole foods and protein. So it's actually not as effective as just eating more protein in your diet. Eating more protein in your diet, you would get a lot of the same benefits that collagen is toting, plus you'd be able to lose weight easier if that's your goal, or maintain your muscle mass and feel a lot better too. So if you're considering taking collagen, I would just go straight to the source that has a complete amino acid profile and eat more protein.
That makes sense. We haven't talked about that one at all, but that's my impression too off of all the research, is that there's really not enough to say whether collagen does anything or not. Yeah. So
there was
I do, and I agree that people who probably feel there's a benefit from it are just benefiting from the protein, and would benefit even more if they were just
having a complete protein.
Yeah.
I guess the one that's missing from collagen is actually one of the significant ones in a lot of the benefits that are touted. So, and all the evidence for all the benefits was all very, very weak except for one of them.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So makes sense to me.
That was a very scientific answer.
And it's sometimes I like to answer those questions by saying, hey, because we don't know, if you're taking it and it feels good and it's working for you, then great. But at the other time, you can also make the mistake of thinking, oh, this is working for me, and not realizing like I could get more benefits if I were actually doing this other thing, like eating protein. So you kind of have to.
Sometimes you got to take a step back and look at the big picture of everything. And it's hard to know all the little things when nutrition science is changing and it's still relatively new.
And we know protein is good for you for sure.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to waste your money, eat food that you're going to already be eating and get a better balance of it.
It gets muddied too when there's marketing involved.
Yeah. Okay. Why do push-ups hurt my shoulders?
Ooh, I can relate to that one. That's good.
Can you?
Question. Yeah.
Interesting. That's one that you've never complained to me about before. Of all the things.
Answer the question.
Not that you ever complain. What was it? Okay, so why do push-ups hurt my shoulders? There can be a lot of different reasons. For sure, if you've had like an injury or something, then that could be playing a role in it. But more often than not, yes, that's how I'm going to phrase it. More often than not, if you're experiencing pain with an exercise, it's because you have some slight thing that you're doing with the exercise and with your form that could take a slight adjustment, and that pain will be gone. Not always, and I'm not saying that I don't want to scare people into going, don't do push-ups ever if you don't know exactly perfect form, because there isn't such thing as perfect form. But if you're experiencing pain, there's a good chance that you could just change one little thing. With push-ups, the most common one is that people like to do push-ups like this with their elbows way out to the side, and that puts a lot of stress on your shoulders. So that's one right away with push-ups where I would say, bring your elbows in. They don't have to be tight, about a 45-degree angle from your body, and do your push-ups like that instead of way out like that. That's going to put less stress on your shoulders.
It would be way more challenging too.
It will be way more challenging. And that's going to bring me to my second point, which is that you might not be strong enough for the type of push-up that you're doing. And you might need to do a hand elevated push-up or even up against a wall so that you're putting less overall weight onto your shoulders. And that's going to potentially then build up the strength so that you can get to doing them where it doesn't hurt as much. So there are definitely other things. Those are the two big ones, is adjust your form a little bit and make sure you're not using too much weight. And normally with push-ups, that means go at a higher angle.
I will say that I don't have as much shoulder pain as I used to because I did do that. I started higher up and I built up that strength. So now when I do them on the floor, I don't experience that pain anymore.
Yeah, and there are a lot of other different things that you could try. Also, I'm not a doctor, so if you're really having shoulder problems, talk to a doctor because, I don't know if you have an actual injury that needs to be addressed by a doctor, take care of that first. But if you're working with me, there are a lot of different things I can do and go, oh, this type of push-up isn't working? Well, let's try this one instead, or this one instead, or fix your form a little bit, or move. There are a lot of things that you can do to fix it. But those two things are the first that I would look at personally as a trainer.
Okay.
Last one. Let's do this one and then call it.
Knock it out.
Okay. Can I eat the same meals as my family and still lose weight?
Sure you can.
Great, thank you.
It's a little bit more strategic in planning, especially depending on what your family is eating. But you can make some tweaks as long as you're mindful throughout the day. And if you know you're having maybe a meal with lots of carbs, so beginning of the day, you can balance your meals with protein and veggies, and at the end of the day, enjoy the carbs. Or maybe at dinner, you can have a little bit less carbs than your family. And so a lot of the meals that we end up using are adaptable. Like we'll all have a rice, a pasta, or potatoes, and we'll just have different amounts for each person, the kids even. And sometimes we'll double up on protein because that's what we need to do for casserole or something. So it definitely takes like a bigger picture knowledge of what you need to be eating throughout the whole day in order to be able to enjoy that same meal as your family and still lose weight.
Awesome. Yeah, this is a very common one because people don't want to be they don't want to be cooking separate meals or, just not eating the normal stuff that their family always has.
Family meals is it's a small thing in the little day, but it's a big thing to be able to sit down with your family and enjoy the same foods. It's very social, relational experience. So it's a very important part for a lot of families.
And the bottom line is 100% you don't have to give that up. So if you don't know how and you want help with that, that's something that we can help you with. That she's really good at with, I mean, all kinds of figuring out different ways, like she was talking about, to be able to allow you to do that and still reach your goals. So in fact, if you want to talk to us about working with you and just seeing if our coaching is a good fit, let's go ahead and leave a link where they can book a call. We do a free 20-minute call where you just kind of let us know what's going on and where you'd like to be, and we can kind of decide, here's what we would do for you, and you can go, okay, yeah, great, help me, let's do it. Or you can go, okay, I'll try and figure it out on my own. Either way is fine, but book that free 20-minute call and then let's just chat about it.
And strategize with you and move forward from there.
Super quick and easy, so we'd love to talk to you. If you have any other questions, leave a comment, send us a message. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.